Welcome, everybody, to Dead Talk Live. And today it is my special honor to welcome Marc Menchaca, who is starring in Netflix's upcoming movie, No One Gets Out Alive. Marc, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here with us. First of all, great job. I saw the movie. It is being released September 29th. For all our viewers who want to go check it out, it's called No One Gets Out Alive. Marc stars in it, and he does an amazing job. And let's get right to it. Now, the story is, the way I see it, of a woman, a desperate woman. It's a story of desperation of a woman who is trying to find herself, who finds herself at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, the script first came your way, what attracted you to the role of Red?
Well, I've never played a guy named. Maybe I did play one guy named Red before, but that was one thing I thought it fit, as I do have a red beard, and I don't know. I like the story of her, and I mean, ultimately, I'm an obstacle in that story, but I love the story of Christina and being an undocumented person in the country and trying to make that work. And it's a very it's one of those topics that's very present right now.
It is.
Um, and Yeah, and my dad's side of the family was from Mexico, and so that it all kind of worked for me. I just liked that aspect of it.
Awesome. Now, Red, your character, for me at least, I found some sympathy for him because he was, in a way, a coward to his older brother. Now, so Red is not just this very basic movie antagonist. He's layered. There's layers to Red. What did you do to prepare to play a complex character like him?
Well, I mean, I would say generally what I do to play anybody who is will be ultimately seen as kind of the bad guy is finding I mean, and it was in the script. The humanity of Red was there. I mean, you could see that he struggled with what he was ultimately doing and what he wanted to do.
Hmm.
Or that was the way I interpreted it. That um, it was a very hard choice, and especially with Christina's character, I think she was the one who she was like the straw that broke the camel's back for him, and he, in a sense,
Yeah.
because I felt like that he really struggled with uh, with what she was going through and what he would have wanted for her.
Exactly. Red is torn between family loyalty and doing the right thing, which he knows what he's doing is wrong. And he tries to ultimately, in his way at least, try to help Amber, played by Christina Rodlow, who is also fantastic in this movie. What was it like working with Christina?
I loved working with Christina. I would work with her again in a heartbeat. She and I we hit it off first time we met uh, in Cleveland in March of 2020, right before it shut everything down.
Wow.
We met out there, and yes, she was a lovely person, and I think because of our the relationship that we kind of that just was naturally there at the beginning. I think that made it even it made it even harder in the film to to do what I was supposed to do
Exactly.
because I was rooting for her the whole time.
It's hard to talk about and not give away spoilers, isn't it? It's like you
Yeah.
gotta. I'm totally with you on that. Now, Amber, I feel is a character that has some resentment towards her mother who has passed, uh, and she feels guilty because there is a side of her that has this resentment that she's given up a chunk of her life to spend with her mom, and she's haunted by that. Now, would you say that is a social commentary in this movie about how when parents get older, it's the children's responsibility to take care of the parents?
Um, I, in some way, yes. I mean, I do think our parents, whether we like to admit it or not, they give a lot of
Oh
their
yeah,
lives bringing us up, and I feel like, I don't know, family's hard to get away from,
exactly.
even, even when you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a father. I'm a dad, and I can attest to bringing up three children. And as a parent, you don't want to burden your children with the fact of them having to take care of you in at old age. But in this movie, that's sort of not what's being portrayed from Amber's mom. Uh, what? How did you feel about that part of the story, where Amber is sort of kind of forced to be with her mom, and it really shapes her into what she becomes and leads her to a desperate situation, which ultimately leads her to you and your building.
Yeah, well, I think overall we don't have any control over the situations that we're born into. Um, and I'm sure as a father that you kind of just you don't we don't really know what we're doing as far
No,
as like we some kids come into the world, and you try to shepherd them along
there's
and give them their own freedoms, but then you have to take some freedoms away. There's you kind of, and I can see how you would blame your parents for certain things, but um, I don't know. I thought it was very real in some respects,
it
as
is.
far as the relationship between her mother and her,
Yeah.
uh, between Amber and her mother. Bob, sorry. Uh, and so yeah, I thought I thought it was a very real depiction of.
Me too, and it's something that you don't see very often in films. It's usually the other way, I guess the socially appropriate way. It was very refreshing in this film to see a more realistic view of what the world is like. Now, moving on, David Figlioli plays Becker, your brother, who is a few apples short of a fruit basket. His character.
Yeah, yeah.
You two had fantastic chemistry on the screen together as brothers. And we're not talking about the loving brothers either. Uh, did you and David work together to build that chemistry, like on the side? Did you rehearse on how to get that relationship portrayed right on the screen?
Uh, no, I mean, we did a little bit of rehearsal before we shot. Um, but really, I think David and I just kind of, I think we knew who each other was and who we were to each other, and we just, you know, I guess back to being a parent, it's at times being an actor, you don't know exactly what you're doing. You're just like, here you go, let's see if this works, and fortunately, it worked for us. So.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the ritualistic aspects in the film. We're not going to give away, obviously, any spoilers, but there are some ritualistic aspects in the film uh, that your character is somewhat involved in. Uh, Now, to get into the role and to play it the way that you wanted to portray Red, did you do any kind of character backstory for yourself to explain some of the ritualistic aspects to better bring Red to life?
Uh, yes and no. I mean, I think I think that kind of depends on how you work as an actor. But I did do I did do work um, on our childhood together, um, and then some different points in our like in growing up and to where we were. That was kind of I don't know that I for some reason childhood is a very
Yeah.
important thing to me in when I work. Um, I like to think of the characters as children and maybe what that moment of the loss of innocence was like. What was it that maybe turned the mind in a different direction? So yeah, so I guess the answer to your question is yes.
Okay.
I did some of that.
Yeah, yeah, that's I mean that's what I figured because like I said, Red is a very complex and layered character. Now, this is a Netflix movie. It is coming out on Netflix. Is this your first Netflix project that you worked on?
No, no, I've been fortunate enough to work on a couple of Netflix gigs. I did Ozark first season and have come back a couple of times on that show, um, and then I did a show called Raising Dion, which was also a Netflix show.
Now,
So,
Netflix is, in my opinion, an amazing company to be with, production and work with. How do you feel about working with Netflix as partners?
I mean, I've loved it. I think you know my experience has been with these two shows, and Ozark, has been a Ozark was a good platform for a lot of people. Um, and there's Netflix really gave Jason Bateman freedom
Yeah,
to do what he wanted to do with the show, and I think it comes across because I think they've allowed him and kind of been there for him as he's made this show that's become a very
it's a hit. I mean, it is
hit.
a hit. Absolutely. Now,
And
oh, go on.
no, I was
Sorry.
just going to say, and Raising Dion too. I thought it was wonderful, and it was a beautiful little kid show, not but like for a younger audience that I normally don't get to do. And I've some of my favorite moments of somebody coming up to say I recognize you from this was from like there was this one kid. There's been other kids, but there was this one kid in Brooklyn that came up. And so, anyways, that Netflix was the platform that happened on.
That's that.
And it's like that's where that's where kids watch their
It's the
content.
exactly. It's the go-to place. Now, in your career, you have played a wide spectrum of characters, from rich, powerful men down to the petty thief, criminal to the bad guy. How have you avoided, in your very long, successful career, not being boxed into playing a particular type of character? And spreading your wings and showing everybody that, hey, I am capable of more than just this.
I think that I've I've had conversations with my managers that I've said I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. Um, that I don't know. I feel like it would just kind of kill me creatively as an
Yeah.
actor. Um, but also through meeting people on shows and movies, producers and writers, and when you hang out with them outside of the context of the movie, they see that you're a different person than who you are on screen, and I don't know, maybe that's helped.
Yeah.
I I have really no, I don't really have an idea how to answer that, but I'm very grateful that that I haven't been pinholed to one specific character, and I
Well,
hope it doesn't.
it's not. I think it comes down to talent. You are an extremely talented actor, and the fact that you don't just that you had that conversation with your manager, and you said from very early on that you don't want to be, boxed in a particular character, and you've shown they from like I said, you can do the powerful businessman down to the drunken criminal and everything in between is a testament to your acting. So congratulations on that. Um, Now,
Right.
what would you say? Would you say Ozark was one of the big breaks that you got in your career?
Yeah, it was definitely one of the big ones. I think as you go on, I think you always think, oh, that's the big one, and then that's the big one. But then sometimes you have somebody come and they reference a show from 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
They're like, that's why I wanted you for this job. But I mean, Ozark, just for instance, last night I'm in Sevilla, Spain right now, and I was at this place and having a drink, and this guy was like, I recognize you from something. I mean, I've just shaved and cut my hair, and it's like I recognize you from something, and then of course what it was Ozark. He was like, oh, I did. He was like, I knew it was. I couldn't place it, but
Yeah.
and that happens kind of wherever I go. I feel like Ozark is what most people
Recommend.
nowadays
Yeah.
recognize from.
Well, that leads. We're almost out of time. I know you have a very busy schedule. I do want to ask. You have been on so many hit shows like CSI, Homeland, Ozark, Sleepy Hollow, The Blacklist, and the list goes on and on and on. Is there any particular project that you have worked on that you really had a lot of fun with that character?
I mean, not to go back to the same old bone, but Ozark's been one of the most special shows I've ever been a part of. From the cast and the crew that I got to work with, to this beautiful character that I was given.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I I still get a little emotional about that character. Um, I haven't fully said goodbye yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you
uh,
were, I mean, you were amazing in Ozark. And again, we're out of time. And Mark, I know you're a busy man. I want to thank you so much for the time that you did give us. Guys, the movie's called No One Gets Out Alive. It's premiering on Netflix Wednesday, September 29th. It is a paranormal thriller, mystery. I mean, it's a little bit of everything when it comes to the horror realm. It's great, it's scary, it's freaky, and it's a great, great acting, great character storytelling. Please check it out on Netflix September 29th. Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Any final thoughts before we go?
no, watch the movie.
Exactly. Watch the movie,
Yeah.
guys. No One Gets Out Alive on Netflix. Mark, thank you so much.
All
Uh,
right. Thank
Thank you to our entire audience. Till next time, on behalf of Mark and myself, stay safe and stay walking. Bye bye.